So what happens when a full-time OB-GYN, mother of 3, and a passionate advocate for women's health decides to show up online, not as a stereotypical white coat doctor, but as a real human being? A human being with a voice, a story, and a mission. Today's guest is Dr. Lawren Honken, also known as your friend, the OB-GYN, who started with answering late-night texts from friends about periods, pregnancy, and perimenopause, which has turned into a powerful platform that's changing how women understand and advocate for their health. In this conversation, you'll hear how Dr. Honken went from overthinking every post to now confidently creating content that resonates with thousands, all while juggling a full-time job and raising 3 little ones. Now, if you're new here, the MedStory Podcast is designed for physicians that are trying to build their brand online. Whether you're writing a book, want to book paid speaking gigs, build your business, or just build your brand, then this podcast is for you. So make sure to subscribe and let's get into the conversation. Dr. Lawren, tell me, what made you want to start creating content on social media?
Really, I think it comes down to seeing other people do it and do it so well, and seeing the response that they were getting from people and how empowering it was to people. And then seeing patients that had access to content, that were coming in asking questions, and just believing that, oh, I could do this too. If they can do it, I can do it. But I will say the inspiration behind it is that I think the best thing that has come out of being a doctor that is unanticipated is the ability to access the healthcare system, the ability to advocate for myself, to help my family, my kids, my parents, my aunt. I think I didn't realize how difficult it could be sometimes to understand what's going on or to access information. And so that is where I came from, just wanting to be able to offer that to people. And I have from that are not doctors from college or growing up that would reach out to me because they're pregnant or they're trying to get pregnant or they're having some menstrual abnormalities or now they're going through perimenopause. So they're calling me saying, hey, can I ask you this? This is what's going on. This is what my doctor said, or I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't know. What do you think? And so I just thought, what if everybody could have like their friend was an OB-GYN and they could just get advice like in a friendly way? And I guess that's what the inspiration was behind it.
Have you ever had a time when a patient maybe has seen some of your videos online?
Yeah. And that's becoming a little more frequent lately. I think because just word travels fast and I'm not in a huge town or community. And so there are a lot of Facebook groups, And one thing that is actually super, super sweet is I had like 3 people. One was another doctor and 2 were doctors in town that I knew in different specialties. And then one was a nurse that I work with. They sent me a screenshot from like a Facebook group of people asking like, hey, what OB-GYN would you recommend in town? This is what I'm looking for. And there were just so many people that were recommending me, which was I felt so thankful, but also a lot of people that were like, oh, also check out her Instagram and her TikTok. And so, yeah, I'll see a new patient annual exam and I'm like, hey, I introduce myself and they're like, oh yeah, I'm like so excited. I feel like I'm like sitting here with a celebrity. So it's just so funny. I'm like, thank you. So I'm glad to know that you aren't stuff on there.
That is so amazing. And I've had experiences like that too, where they come in and they've seen some of my videos. And what I didn't realize is that, wow, I've actually already established a relationship with them before I've actually met them in person. And that moves along the treatment process tenfold compared to just starting fresh.
Yes.
And I think that is so cool.
So cool and so important. And it helps you accomplish so much more when you already have that like, trust, and know factor with a patient already. Because a lot of the visit, especially in a sensitive space, is you're just trying to develop rapport and get someone to trust you and get them to tell you things that are very sensitive in 15 minutes. So yeah, if they come in already knowing and being like, oh, I like you, it makes it a lot easier.
I think if people check out your page, what they're going to find is a masterclass in authenticity and someone being genuine. And this is a big reason of why you're doing so well with it. Do you find it difficult to balance because doctors are supposed to be portrayed as professional and often comes off sterile, and you flipped that script to be like, I'm going to be human first. Can you tell me, did you decide to do that, or what has been your thought process with it all?
No, I really didn't decide to do that, but I think it just naturally evolved. And then I saw what people were appreciative of. And honestly, I don't know, it surprised me because a lot of, I think, what you put out there, especially I think for doctors or clinicians like yourself too, we usually tend to be pretty type A people, pretty high performers. We're good at multitasking, but we hold ourselves to a very high standard. So a lot of it, at the beginning, I was just so scared to put things out there without triple million time checking it. I wanted to look up, see what all was on PubMed about it, make sure I wasn't missing anything, make sure I was coming across as I have all the information, you can trust me kind of thing. And I think a lot of that was anxiety too. And then just realizing people just want accessible information and they want it from a trustworthy source. What I care about the most is letting patients know that there are doctors out there who want to be in a partnership with them to help them move their health forward. Not necessarily, I'm not looking for somebody to follow all my instructions or do things that don't align with their values. And because as a patient myself, that's very important to me. And I always am wondering about the why behind things, just learning things in medical school. I wanted to know, why is this recommended? Why do we do this? What is the evidence behind it? And I think that's what people are looking for that are not medical. They want to know those things. And so I think that's just how I wanted to look at it. Like, I wanted to show people that there are doctors out there who want to take care of people like they would want someone to take care of them.
One thing that I really encourage all the physicians that I talk to is that you're right. All your decisions should be made off of evidence-based practice. But oftentimes, if you only present the facts and the data to someone, what us as healthcare providers, we value that a lot. But the truth is, a lot of people don't value that as much as we do. What they do value is the story behind it. And that's where I encourage them to say, you know what? Yes, there's this data, but what story can you relate to that data? That person could say, oh, you know what? I could actually see that. That makes sense. And I think that is a shift from going from, let's stop lecturing patients. Let's stop being like, I need to teach them, to being, let me just share my experiences and maybe they can get some takeaways for it that can actually help them make a change. Have you ever tried things like that?
Yeah, I love how you put that. And I think what's so important and what I try to tell people, really try to tell like my friends and family before they're going into the doctor's office, is you really need to know yourself. Like, you need to know what your values are, what you're looking for, and what you want so that you can better communicate that. Evidence is very important, I think, but I really like the term individualized based medicine because, of course, we should be using evidence, but also the individual in front of us and what they value and what they want. I can tell people all day long, yeah, you should be exercising and like eating right and stuff. But if I don't know where they come from, what their background is, what their culture is, what they prioritize, then that's just going to be in one ear and out the other. It's not really helping anybody.
And I think one thing that you do so well is to be like, give yourself grace. Like, our doctors are humans, you're human, and it's okay to not be perfect. So take me back. Tell me the transformation between when you first started creating maybe content or videos to where you are now. Was it challenging in the beginning for you?
Oh, man. Yeah, I think more just related to how I think I was really worried about how I was going to be perceived and how I was going to come across. I think a lot of that is to the culture of medicine and the fact that we're also people pleasers. We want to be liked. And then I think over time, I just realized that if I was presenting authentic information, that I was being authentic and true to who I am, then I'm happy with that. And at the end of the day, if I can look back and say, okay, I was authentic, I was respectful, those kinds of things are what matters to me. But yeah, I mean, it certainly is a lot easier now to produce content than it was before. And it is a stress relief, honestly. And it's a fun way to engage with people online, hear different people's opinions. I've met and connected with so many different people and learned a lot in all different medical spaces, but also in OB-GYN. I've learned a lot about how I can better take care of patients. And I'm just very appreciative for it all.
What have you done to make it easier for you? What have you learned and what steps have you taken?
So I'm still working on this. So I realize like I'm the type of person that in my life, I just have this picture in my head that I'm going to spontaneously just have this great productive life without actually scheduling anything, which is just when you're a busy person, it just that doesn't happen. So I think where I'm going to be going next is really scheduling, doing it for myself. So right now, what I try to do is I try to just have one post a day. I'm very small, measurable goals for myself. And during the week, I'm just like, I'm just going to do one post a day. And I don't even have a thing of like content pillars or anything like that. In the ideal world, I would be planning this out a little bit better. I'm a consumer of social media. So I scroll through and I see something that I think is funny or that I think is usable. And I'm like, save. And then a day that I have where I'm at work or I'm in a location, like I'm in my office right now and I have on scrubs and I have a few minutes where my kids aren't screaming in the background. I'm like, let me look at the things that I favorited and saved and see if I can record or do a voiceover a couple times. And then I will just try to think of what I want to say or what I want to put as text on the top. And then a couple of days later, I'm like, oh, that would fit really well on it. Or see something that somebody else did. And oh, that would totally fit in OB-GYN. Or Chat GPT is where it's at. So I have used Chat GPT a lot, especially lately. And I literally just put in there, this is what the reel is. This is what I'm mouthing over it. And then I did something else I saw somebody posting on social media about like their brand and training Chat GPT to be their brand voice. So I put all that into Chat GPT and it asked me a bunch of questions about what I value, like what I want my brand to communicate, what I really care about. And so now it's got me like spot on and I have to edit some stuff still, but I'm like, hey, make this in my brand voice. And I want to make sure to hit these, like I can just like word vomit and it just organizes everything for me, which is amazing.
I'm so happy you're doing that because we've actually started building those out for the different doctors as well. Because once you start creating content, you're getting out the ways that you communicate and the way that you want to be perceived. And people think that if I just use the standard Chat GPT all the time, what it's doing is it's pulling information from all of the internet. You want it to be pulling information from you. And it's amazing that you say, once you train it on your data specifically, it's kind of scary how good it is of mimicking your voice and getting it out there. But man, think how easy it makes it for the ideation and the captions and things like that. So super smart. What point did you decide, you know what, I need some help when you decided to hire your VA?
Yeah, so I think a few different things. I think one thing was that I work full time right now and it's full time, but it's like way more than 40 hours a week, I feel like. And I just wasn't able to get to everything that I wanted to do. And I had heard of a couple people that I follow had virtual assistants. I listen a lot to Dr. Una's podcast on TreMD, and she talked a lot about how to hire a virtual assistant, what you could use a virtual assistant to do. So I was like, okay, I think I need to look into this. But yeah, and it's been fun working together because she gets my vision so much and she just does it. She's okay, I'm doing this, I did this. And yeah, it's amazing.
If you are listening to this and you're thinking that there are tasks that you wish you wouldn't have to do on a daily basis that could be outsourced, a VA is the answer. Once I hired a VA, I was like, I wish I would have done that 5 years ago. It really is game changing.
It's only like, I mean, I hired her for 5 hours a week. So it's like 20 hours a month, but she manages my calendar. Anyone who like messages or we have talked about, oh yeah, let's do a podcast. Let's do a collaboration. Oh, can I send you something? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yep, email Molly. Here you go. And she just takes care of all of it. And it's such a big thing on my plate. Another thing that she did, she like, maybe I shouldn't say this is going to be public, but I can't even remember who it was for. I needed like some Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. She like did all that for me. She is going to plan me my husband's anniversary trip, just extra stuff that it's like, I can just get this off my plate. And in an ideal world, I would love to plan an anniversary trip, but it's like, what I would love more is to do what I need to do and show up to a trip that's already fully planned and have fun.
I love it. And one thing I want to clarify is you said you're working full time, which I get that you are, which is more than 40 hours, but you're also a mom and you have 3 kids?
Yes, 3 kids, 3 kiddos. I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, just turned 4, and then almost 2-year-old.
And so once again, if this frees up some time for you that you can spend with them, worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%.
What's next for you? You're building this content. You are creating an amazing community. What's your vision? Where do you want to be 1 to 5 years from now?
Oh man, I have such big dreams. I don't know. I really need to sit down and write it down so that I can get it done. I really want to just continue to build this community. I want to continue to give patients access to information so that they can better advocate for themselves. I want to develop a few more guides that are like, this is, especially for an annual exam, this is what to expect. These are things that you should be asking or looking for. These are things that should be like checked off on an annual exam. And I've talked to a few APPs, so like nurse practitioners, PAs that are really interested in women's health that have asked me some questions. And I would love to lean into that and mentor other people that are interested in women's health, because we don't have OB-GYN. There's not enough of us. We can't do it all. And we certainly are part of primary care. So if there are people in family medicine or PAs or NPs that midwives that want to learn more about GYN or OB care, I would love to lean into that.
I love it. It's an amazing goal. Okay, so where can those people go find you if they want to start learning about you or even watch your journey?
Yeah, so probably the best place right now is Instagram at your friend, the OB-GYN. I also, thanks to MedStory, have a YouTube account that has 2 videos posted. I got to get the other ones posted. I'm on TikTok, and I have a website, yourfriendtheobgyn.com. And I also have an email, Dr. Honken at yourfriendtheobgyn.com. So you can find me any of those places. The quickest response you'll get is probably a DM on Instagram, though.
I love it. Awesome. Dr. Honken, I appreciate you. You're doing amazing work, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime.
Thanks for listening to the MedStory Podcast. If you're a physician that is looking to build their brand online and maybe need some help, or maybe you want to come on this podcast and share what you're learning, then make sure to go to medstorymedia.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon.